which is hot takes are a curse on our community. They're a curse. And I say this as someone who's been under their spell, who has cast a few of them myself. And if you want to break this bewitchment, then let me tell you this. If you stay in short form, shock tactic, social media witchcraft spaces, then you will have a shallow, short-lived practice. We seem to want a space around a cauldron that is all edge and no depth. But I think we've pushed it so far that we're actually in the cauldron, right? We are the frog in the pot, we are the toad in the cauldron, and we think because we're stirring it that we're in control, but we're not. We're boiling our magic dry. We don't need hot takes. We need cool gives. We need to go back to those foundational elements, right? To the water element. To have that flow, that slow carving out of a path that we can go down, others can join us on, that we can celebrate, the the flow of all of our elements that we bring to this practice, to this whole witchcraft thing. I've been lucky enough to spend some time away and study, and I've been off the short form media and in mainly really in conference spaces, still online, because online is important, accessibility is important. But when I've been in these conferences, whether they're in person or online, I've met people who I've not always agreed with everything they've said, but they are interesting. They are a part of my community. We are connected to one another, and they're deserving of sharing space. And when we're in online space, we seem to think that everybody is an enemy. Everybody's someone that we're having to seek the approval of some kind of witch deity. Look how well I owned this person. Look how well what little pithy comment did you say? But, we get, unfortunately, kind of channeled to shallower and shallower waters until we are beached on a shore of enshittification, right? Of mediocrity, and we're there, mouths open, gasping and wide-eyed, and looking around at all the other witches who are dried up until what's left of us, the kind of defiant bloating that we have around how important we think we are in the witchcraft community finally explodes, and the scattered remains of us reveal a very hollow core. Because when we're not online, what is our practice? When we're not fighting each other, what is our practice? When we're not trying to prove ourselves against some imaginary measure, or rather against a measure that's controlled by the devil of the algorithm, right? We're letting our power move away from us. And, I've been seeing patterns in this. I've been at this for a while now, and I always used to get annoyed when people would say, oh, wow, man, back in my day, oh. But actually, I've realised that sometimes people say these things because they're trying to let us know that we can do better. We can move through witchcraft in a better way, and occult spheres in a better way. And, I think the people who stick around in witchcraft circles, they're the ones who really kind of contribute more than they consume. And they water the seeds of community, right? And then they get out of the light to let those seeds actually bloom, right? Kindness, consideration, humility. Yes, humility, even though we might think we're Billy Big Cauldrons, right? Sure, in the moment of a spell, a ritual, you are the most powerful being ever. In that moment, you are the witch of all time. But guess what? Outside of that, this world that we look up and out at and goes, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. That sky that we all share. We share our makeup with stars, but we also share it with trash, with rubbish, and with seagulls that fight over chips. and we're all of that is special, but we're not recognizing that in our desire to be inflammatory. I think we need to respond, not react, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, challenge ourselves to kind of transmute those ashes of attack into a soil of success. And how we measure that success is by how supportive and sustainable our community is. You know, we're in danger at the moment, I think, of either continuing these attacks or deep diving too deep into nostalgia. You know, we're old enough to have, or many of us are old enough to have good old days, right? And we're being charmed by the certainty of the past. But we're forgetting that the present is where we're needed. The present is where the universe meets us to make our magic. You know, witchcraft is timeless, but it's also of its time, right? David Rankin says the witch or the magician uses the technology of their age. I think the question we need to ask ourselves is, are we using our time well? All of this really is a call to action. And for some people, maybe inaction. The excitement that there can be in witchcraft and magic is the thing I want to foster, not this weariness. And here's the thing, right? I'm not talking about ignoring the needs of the world, of our global community, because there are so many things that we need to engage with and support in whatever way we can, right? You know, accessibility is important. Economics, I get it. But maybe by not fighting over who has hexed the moon most recently, we can actually focus on collective action. Even individual action. Don't want to be part of a collective? That's up to you. But ultimately, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be magical to be able to say that, yes, I've cast a damn good spell. Yes, I've made magic happen for me. But I've made that magic happen in a world that I am proud to be engaged with and a part of and building towards. And I know I'm one person. I know I'm one collective of people, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people around the world, right? But at least you've made the magic happen. Because you've given. You've not taken. It is that cool give, not the hot take. I think that's what I need. Maybe you need it too? I'm Lee. This is Do the Magical Thing. And yeah, I wish you health, wealth, and less hot takes, more cool gives.